Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I'm here for another one of my Monday this and that vlogs where I talk about all kinds of different topics, covering a few questions that have come in the past week, giving you some updates on various things and just whatever I feel like talking about. And to all of my haters out there, I just want to say a big thank you for all of your interaction, your views, your dislikes, all of that stuff, even though I never see your dislikes because I never pay attention to that stuff. I know they're there. I just know they're there. And I just want to say thank you because that still gives my channel a boost. So I do appreciate that. And to those of you who think I shouldn't be calling out the haters or the trolls because it gives them attention, well, let me just share something with you. I do it because it's my comedy relief. So you know, if they get a boost out of it and I get a boost out of it, it's a win-win. So anyway, let's get to the topics of today. So I want to talk a little bit about the mica powders, but I'm going to be going into more detail in a separate video that I'm going to be shooting real soon. And so some people have been noticing my makeup and, you know, some people really like it. Some people don't. That's fine. That's fine. Let me explain real quickly. What happened was years ago, I bought, this is just some of them, a pack of mica powders for really cheap because I was planning on playing with them as alternative for eyeshadow and lips and more. Because even though I was not one to ever wear foundation or anything like that, I did still like occasionally having some lip color and eye color. I've always just had fun with that. And I just kind of gave up on it, and I've just been wearing my own homemade mascara and some natural eyeliner that I find. Yeah, I can still use the mascara for eyeliner, but because it's liquid, I prefer a pencil when it comes to that. Then I came across these mica powders I bought a couple months ago, and I thought, you know, I should start playing around with these and learning more about them again. And again, I'll go over more about which colors I use and how in that video. And I'm wearing this green right here, just right over the top of my eyeliner. And then I use a blend of a couple of different powders for my lips. And some of it, I thought it would just be fun. And especially for those who are looking for an alternative that's more natural and also very cheap. It's very, very cheap. Because let me tell you something. I'll never work through all these mica powders, ever. Ever. It takes very, very little. And that's why I've had to experiment with it quite a bit. But yes, you can use it as cheek color. I don't have anything on my face, but I have experimented using some for just like a rouge color. You could use it for a contour. And just, again, a lot of it's just to have fun, but also to kind of give some people other ideas of what they can do. The baggies, you know, they're okay. But then I thought, why not buy some to do some more experimenting that had even more colors that came in little plastic containers like this. Would make it a little more easier, less likely to spill it like I've already done once with these powders. And there's a lot of colors here. And again, as far as if I just, because I only do this maybe a couple of times a week, the rest of the time I don't wear any makeup or I just put on my homemade mascara. This would last me forever. However, all the colors in here I may never use. The great thing about it is if I ever started selling soaps again or just wanted to have fun with the soaps, I could use them for soap coloring. The great thing about mica powders is they have so many uses. I know a lot of people use them to color epoxy when they're doing the resins and stuff. One thing I wanted to say though, right off the bat, if you're looking at purchasing some, I can go ahead and link you to these down below. But it was after I bought this last one that I learned about the importance of finding it ethically mined, because there's in a lot of your natural mica powders, there's a lot of child labor that's being used. And so I did some research on these two. I couldn't find anything about this one as far as being ethically sourced as far as that goes, so these are natural. Though this one, it didn't make the claim on the right out front, which makes me a bit suspicious. I did look through the questions on Amazon, and a couple of people did ask about that, and they did say that there's no child labor that goes into that. So you could check that out deeper if you want, or if you want to just do some more deeper research online. And you can just start out with a small amount. You don't have to buy a bunch, because you can blend colors easily to come up with something that suits whatever it is you're going to use it in. So I just wanted to touch on that real quick, but be watching for a more in-depth video coming down the road. Then another thing I wanted to talk about, I wasn't actually going to mention this again today, but because this suddenly has been coming up all over the place, it always starts with one person doing a video or a blog or something. Somebody reads it or sees it, and it's always very general, and then all of a sudden everybody starts saying it. I've seen this happen with castor oil and certain other things, and the metal in the honey. Let me cover this one because I've been through this before. When it comes to fermenting, I heard the same thing when I first started fermenting. Well, after I'd been fermenting, making kimchi for a few years, I'm like, oh, I'm not supposed to use metal. Well, I used to always use a big stainless steel bowl. Though it was successful, so I don't know why I questioned this, but I'm like, okay. So I went and bought a big old glass punch bowl. And you can see right here in this image, taken many years ago, of me making kimchi in this big, huge glass bowl so that no metal was touching it. Then the rumor started again not too long back with bentonite clay, because people saw me using a little metal fork to mix a bentonite clay facial mask. And people were freaking out about that. And I'm like, really? And though initially I didn't research the honey one, now that's the big rumor, because I knew it was the same rumor that was being used for fermentation and with bentonite clay. Now, it's not that there isn't some truth to that. The problem is people just say, use the general term metal. Well, how many different kinds of metals are there in the world? There are certainly certain metals you should never use for any of that. And that would be aluminum, copper, and silver. The silver and copper, because they can destroy the good, healthy bacteria. And the aluminum, simply because, well, you should be avoiding aluminum. We get enough exposure to aluminum, and too much has been proven to be toxic. Important thing to understand, and I did finally figure this out in my years of making kimchi and other ferments, is that when it comes to any of that if you're using stainless steel, especially a high grade stainless steel like my flatware, it's not actually silver, it's all a high quality stainless steel, then there's nothing to concern yourself with. In fact, if you don't believe me, just look it up. And that includes using it with honey. No, it's not going to degrade or destroy the benefits of your honey or your bentonite clay or your ferments. Now, a question, and I didn't bring this out, but a question I've been getting a lot is, I had that perpetual vanilla extract video that came out 2 or 3 weeks ago. Some people seem to be confused. So when you're using the perpetual vanilla extract, you always want to start it in a pretty good sized jar. I would say a minimum of a quart jar and up to a half gallon. And mine is somewhere in between my jar that I have it in. I know it's bigger than a quart. So I think it might be 1.5 liters. Because, you know, it is Italian made, so it's going by the metric system. So anyway, what people seem to misunderstand is that they think I go to that jar, just take out a little bit, like a tablespoon or whatever that I need for a recipe, and then top it off again. What I do is I have an 8-ounce bottle that I keep in the kitchen. It takes me several months to work through that 8-ounce bottle. So when I fill up the 8-ounce bottle, I then top off the jar and then put it back in storage and then work through the 8-ounce bottle. By the time I finally get to the bottom of that 8-ounce bottle, then I refill my bottle and then I top off the jar. And so during that time that I'm working through the bottle that's in the kitchen, there's several months that it is re-infusing in the perpetual vanilla extract. So I just wanted to clarify that. And since we were talking about honey, another thing I wanted to just touch on is that there's still a lot of people that when they either start going keto or they're diabetic or they're just trying to cut out sugar in general, they think, oh, I'll go with maple syrup and honey. While yes, those are very healthy options, and I would use those a lot more if it wasn't for the fact that they're both a lot more expensive than using organic cane sugar. When it comes to sugar, there's still sugar, okay? There's still sugar. The difference is that an organic blonde cane sugar is going to have some minerals in them. It's going to be healthier than a plain white sugar that has all of that stripped from it because it still has some of the molasses. The darker the sugar, the more minerals that are in there. So anyway, if you're using honey or maple syrup to replace sugar because you think it's not going to affect your diabetes, or, you know, if you're on a ketogenic diet or you're just trying to avoid sugar altogether, it's still sugar in the end. It's still sugar. It might have added benefits to it, but it's still sugar. So make sure you know that. If you're trying to avoid sugar altogether, you need to look into something like stevia. One of the ones I think is the best, just from what I've learned of it and tried, is the monk fruit extract by itself. All by itself, not mixed with some lab-made sweetener, but just the monk fruit extract. While yes, it will seem really expensive, you only need a teeny tiny bit of it. And I did the math and come to find out that in the end, for as little as you need when you're using not the blend, but the monk fruit extract on its own, it comes out to be about the same price as the Costco brand organic cane sugar. And now I just want to talk real quickly about some other things going on here. I've got, some of you might have seen a couple of shorts. What I'm getting in the habit of doing is in the description box with the short, you got to find those 3 little dots. They're either going to be at the top or at the bottom, depending on the device you're on. You click on that and it should pull up a little menu box. And in there you should find the word description, and then you can open up the description box and you can find any links or other information I put in there. So what I'm doing is linking back to videos on a lot of these, like with the kimchi. I had one that just came out on the spicy kimchi I just started with fresh ingredients this time. And I put links to like 4 different kimchi related videos in the description box. But then when I remember later, I will add it in a pinned comment, but I might be busy when the video publishes, or I'll forget. So unfortunately, YouTube doesn't give us the option to put a comment and pin it to the top before a video publishes. So you have to wait till after. Rumble, when you put a video up there, I can actually pin a comment right to the top before the video publishes. So as soon as it's uploaded, I can do that. I love that I can do that with Rumble. There's definitely one benefit right there to Rumble. But they don't have the shorts thing there. Otherwise, that's why I don't have shorts going on over there. But anyway, I just started this extract. In that description box, I did put what I was using. I laid out exactly what all this was, but people didn't know to access that before I had a chance to get in there and put the pinned comment. It's not really an oxymil because in this case, I used wine, but I did go with approximately a half and half blend. So a 1-to-1 ratio of homemade wine to raw honey. And I had made one a couple of years ago. I'm still trying to finish working through, and I actually love it, especially because it sat for so long. It still has the rosemary in it. So this is a rosemary extract. I just take about a tablespoon or so a day, and it's natural antibiotic, antiviral, and so much more. It's just, rosemary's great. I love rosemary. So it's just another one of those options you can look into. Let's say you're not into the honey infused garlic, but you like rosemary. This might be something you might want to consider. This is it's not a very pretty color, but I did just strain out the juniper and orange peel vinegar that I'd started. So keep in mind, a lot of the videos you see, other than the Monday this and that videos, they were shot a month prior. So that keeps me ahead. That keeps me, I'm going to go into more detail on this in my next Q&A video I'm going to be doing. But it's a way that I stay prepared. So if anything happened to me, you would actually still see videos coming out, except for on Mondays. Through the rest of the week, the other 4 days of the work week, you'll still be seeing videos publishing for at least a month. Right here, I've got my gluten-free flour blend that whenever we're doing anything with our friends, that most of the family, they're gluten-free. I keep this all blended up and ready for making pie crust cookies and more. I haven't tried it yet for making yeast bread. I'm going to do that though soon. I want to try it. I know I'm going to have to add something to it. I think in that case, I probably will add some psyllium husk powder and see how well that does. I'm just going to play around with it, maybe just make little small batches, because one of these days I want to make them pizza, my homemade pizza with my elk or beef or pepperoni that I'm making. And then I want to make an actual yeast bread pizza crust and see how well that works with this. So that, and maybe some dinner rolls and whatever else. Whenever I bring this up, a lot of times it's so I can link it back remind you or let you know that this video published, or remind you it's out there somewhere. And then I try to remember to link to it in the description box down below. But I have to remember to do that during the upload process, and I don't always do that. So just remind me, if you look in the description box and the link isn't there, to say, oh, I couldn't find that link. No problem. It happens a lot. I will gather it and put it in there. I'd rather know than not know. As long as you're polite about it, no big deal. I mean, I'm human. I make mistakes. So anyway, yeah, I'll link to the vinegar video that just came out, and I'll also link to the video I just did on, I didn't do one on this, but other than the short, but I did just do a video on an alcohol-free extract, and I'll link to that one. And then right here, this is one I'm going to be shooting a video on real soon. And this is dehydrated Tar Heel beans. So I do have a recipe for my Tar Heel beans. And what I'm doing now with both my chili and my Tar Heel beans when I make them is I make up a big, huge pot. And instead of canning these like I used to do, I've been dehydrating them because it takes up so much less room in storage. And all I got to do is put this in a pot, add some water. It doesn't take long for these to cook up, maybe 5 minutes of cooking them, and it's ready to eat. I've done it with the chili. I've done it with these. It's really great. I love this. I love this because it takes up so little room, and I have a nearly ready to eat meal. I mean, if it's chili or the beans when they're canned, you still want to heat it up anyway. So it takes about the same amount of time. So anyway, I just wanted to show that, but again, I'll be doing a separate video on that. Oh, and then I wanted to remind everyone about the preparedness testimonies I'd asked for. I've only had a couple people submit their own testimonies through email. And so I really want to start this series, just like with my natural healing testimony series that I've got going on. We just had part 5 that published? I don't know. I know I just uploaded a part 6 that will be publishing in about a month, but I want to start a series on preparedness testimonies. So this can be especially those people who have low funds and they got themselves into a good position. Now, I've already got 2 videos I put out, not before I'd considered making a series out of it, but I've put those into a playlist, which I'll link to down below. One is just one person's story and she has, taken care of her mom and her special needs daughter on very low funds and got herself into a much better position. And I actually haven't seen her comment in a long time, so I hope she's doing okay. But she had a really great testimony. Plus, I did do a video of a compilation of other people's testimonies, but I want to make this a series. So, and though you're welcome to share those in comments, I won't be gathering the testimonies from comments. If you want your story to be included, I will keep you anonymous, don't worry. Just send it to my email at raincountryhomestead@gmail.com and title it Preparedness Testimony. So whatever it's about, it can be about how you got in a better position on limited funds, or it can also be one where you share about how being prepared, having a garden or food storage or this or that, whatever it is that you really focused on, how it got you through some difficult times. Because we've all had to deal with something, whether it just be simple power outages or blizzards that kept the trucks from coming into the stores to get them all stocked up again with food and whatnot. Whatever that story is, sometimes it's just people who lost a job or went through some major crisis just in their own personal life that caused them to have to fall back on their food storage and other things. And these are great testimonies, and I think they need to get out there to the whole world. Everybody needs to understand the benefits and why people like us do what we do. Some people might be worried about a polar shift or this or that or something else. Some of us are just trying to make it through life and make it so when we do go through hard times of any kind, it's a lot easier. We can sail through it a lot more smoothly. And people used to just do this long before it was called preparedness. It was just a way of life. People had a money jar set aside somewhere for emergency funds, doctor visits and whatnot. People grew gardens and canned or preserved their food in some form, and that got them through the winter when the garden wasn't producing. So yeah, I mean, it was just a way of life. It doesn't make someone crazy just because they're trying to look out for themselves and their family. So anyway, that's it for my this and that for the week. So don't forget to open the description box by clicking on more or show more somewhere down here below the video screen. Look for those words. You might have to scroll down and look past the ad if you're on a smart device on Rumble to find that, but it's there somewhere. You can find all the links, all my social media links, all that information's in there. And any thoughts, ideas you'd like to share, put them in comments down below. And thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.